Good morning, Al Ingalls here at pressure-free.com. If you're with me live, if you're coming on live, this is my Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Pressure-free.com if you're with me. Get rid of that. Coming to you live. I actually go through Zoom so that there's subtitles or transcriptions, and they call me all kinds of crazy names like Al Ingalls, Al Eagles. I've seen quite a few different things. So it's L. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well enough for the transcription or the little person typing all this behind the scenes. So it's ELLE, Ingalls. And Tuesday, we talk about triggers. And triggers are step 2 of the pressure-free method. So step 1 are targets, identifying your goals, dreams, visions, things you want to shift and change, things you want to get unstuck about. And step 2 are triggers. Triggers are noticing the things that cause you to feel certain emotions. For the most part, we are not under physical attack, which is the real reason why we have the fight or flight stress response built into us. It's to protect us from that physical threat, that physical attack. So today we're treating all sorts of little situations as if we are under attack. And some of it is happening internally. So you can think of triggers, you can put them into 2 camps, internal triggers and external triggers. Today, what I want to focus on is a couple of internal triggers for you to start to identify. Years ago, I read a book by Vernon Howard called Psychopathography, which had been out of print, and a fellow named Ken Roberts actually got the rights to reprint the book. And that's how I came across it. And in the book, there's a little line that says, "Your thoughts are not your friends." I've changed that up a little bit to say, some of your thoughts are not your friends. And here's what I mean by that. We have a lot of chatter in our head. In fact, I was working with a private coach who had me analyze my thinking patterns throughout the day. Like how am I thinking? What voices are talking in there? So I had that nice voice, pretty cheerleady voice, have a great day. Da, 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 da. I actually used to call myself when I ran the symphony, I'd call myself at 3 a.m. when I had ideas or ways to solve problems. I'd call myself and leave a voicemail at the office that I would listen to the next day. And I always ended it with, "Have a great day." My assistant came in one day and she goes, "Is that you telling yourself to have a great day?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." It sure is. So some of our thoughts are nice. They're cheerleading thoughts. They're keeping us flowing in a nice way. Fairly neutral maybe in emotion. And then there's what I refer to as command form you thoughts. The command form you thoughts, mine usually are prefaced with "hurry up" or "don't forget. Don't forget, you have to pick up your son. Don't forget, you need to stop here and do this errand. Don't forget, this is due today. Don't forget, the deadline is Friday." So it's like a commanding voice. It's usually using the pronoun you. So I'm not talking to myself using the pronoun I in that instance. I'm using the pronoun you. And what I've discovered over the past 10 years in working with clients is that when we use that pronoun you, there's usually a little bit of tension going on in here. So one of the fastest ways you can start to identify if you're triggering the stress response internally because of thoughts going on in here, are you using the pronoun you? The really negative critical voice definitely uses you with me. "Why are you so stupid? Why can't you get that done? How come you're so slow? How come? Why?" Those kinds of questions will usually push me immediately into a more tense mode in my head. So what we're looking for here with internal triggers is what's causing you tension in your mind. What pronouns are you using? That's a great way to figure it out. Are you talking to yourself in a positive way or a negative way, commanding way, a hypercritical way? What's really going on in here? We have a lot of different voices, and sometimes the voice isn't even our own that's talking in there. It's a patterned in a way that someone talked to us in our youth. So maybe it was one of your parents or an aunt or uncle or grandparent, somebody that when you messed up, they talked to you a certain way, and you're repeating that in your own head. Does that make sense? So if you can start to identify a couple of voices, for me, it was the command form you and then the hypercritical voice. Who's going to listen to you? You'll never get this right. Those kinds of phrases going on in my head. That was when I knew I was starting to go into fight or flight. It's like you're priming the pump, or think of a lawnmower where you have to, if you've ever pushed a lawnmower, you have to pump the little thingy here to prime the pump, to get the gasoline going. Same thing in a boat. You have to squeeze the bulb. If you have a little putt boat, you got to squeeze the bulb, get the gas primed. That's what these thoughts do. They put you on edge in a tension that it's super easy to trigger the stress response. So if you can just start to gain a little bit of traction on that, you might want to write down some of the phrases that you hear yourself say to yourself in your head. In addition to the you pronoun, another thing is to notice if the questions going on in your head start with why or how come. How come I always mess up here? Why am I so stupid? Why can't I score higher on that test? So how come and why questions usually are spinning us in a negative direction. A very quick tool to use, I'll pop a tool right in here for you because I love to give you tools, is to switch those kind of questions to how can I, or how can we, if it's more than one person. So for example, if you're saying to yourself, how come I'm messing up here? Pause and just say, how can I solve this? Or how can I make this better? How can I go more smoothly? How can I stop being in a hurry? How can I be more graceful if you're uncoordinated? Because stress hormones will make you uncoordinated. What are the words you want? That's when we get to targets. And we'll talk more about targets later this week too. But today I really want to focus on Tuesday triggers, noticing the you for sure, command form you, negative critical talk, flipping that a little bit, and noticing if questions start with why and how come. It might not be about you too. It could be about someone else in your family or someone you're close to or someone at work. Like, how come they always say that to me? Or how come they can't get this done in time? How come they're always late? If you're asking a how come question, you're moving into some tension. I'll give you one more thing here. I've got another minute here. Take a look at your face. You can video yourself or enlist someone else's help, because your face is going to reveal, like, if you're like, how come I'm so stupid? Look at my furrowed brow here. And your mouth usually downturns and you're like tight. When your face goes tight on things, that's where you usually have some internal tension. When I'm coaching my clients, I watch their face really carefully. Like, I really observe them. And I'm able to observe them because I'm pressure free. That's the other thing. If a person's triggered, it's really hard to see another human being very well. So you want someone that's in the state that they can actually see you and observe you well, because they'll cloud it with their own lenses if they're in fight or flight. So you want to watch the face. You can watch your own face. Even in the mirror, talk about something that's important to you and notice what your face does. When you go tense, there's that moment that you can start to work on. So I hope this has been super helpful. I know this has been helpful to a lot of my clients. And if you want to learn more, please connect with me. Again, if you know of people who help others who suffer from secondhand stress or in stressful situations, like first responders, healthcare professionals, mental health care professionals, coaches, business coaches, life coaches, a lot of times people take on the stressors of their clients. And I have a new certification program to teach people how to teach the pressure-free method. So you teach it, you learn it, you master it, and you begin to teach it. So reach out at speakwithL.com for a talk with me, or just send a little private message to me through LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook here. So have a great pressure-free day. Bye.